favorite holiday songs, traditions, foods?
My mom makes this coconut tart. It has like coconut flakes on it with raspberry filling in this like little tart container. Oh, they're great. She makes it every
Nice.
year. It's the best thing ever. And that's the thing I always look forward to. She always hits us for like for taking it, because she's always it's always a running joke now. Because when we were growing up, it was always no, don't eat those. They're for when guests come over. It's for when
Right.
guests are
Right.
around. Stop
Yeah.
eating things. That's for when guests show up.
My stepmom Lois, one of her specialties is an appetizer dish. It's a mushroom dip that she bakes. It's very cheesy, mushroom and cheese, and it's delicious. But now it's holiday tradition that she makes my own like pre-dish the night, like when the night of company is coming over. Because if she doesn't, she has to make like a separate one for me, because I'll get into it and I'll like finish half of it before the guests come. So she like makes the main ones for the guests, however many that is. She'll make a few of them and kind of put them around the room next to crackers, next to different kind of crackers and stuff. And then she'll be like, "This one's yours. You can have this one. Don't touch these ones. These ones are for the party." And I'm like, what? What? I'm like, I'm already done it. Um, and what else for me? We always do on Christmas Eve. My dad's side of the family is Danish, which is where Laughing Vikings, the Viking side of Laughing Vikings, comes from. And so they do something called a Danish luncheon, usually Christmas Eve, I think, and also sometimes New Year's Eve. And the tradition is kind of like open face sandwiches. So there's like lots of sliced meats, also pickled fish like herring, like it's like herring in tomato sauce, or sometimes just herring in, I don't know, whatever it is, vinegar. I've never been a super fan of the herring. I don't mind some of that stuff, but also with it is schnapps, Danish schnapps called akavit, which stands for, I believe, water of life. And it's this schnapps, like almost like a vodka, but tastes more like a tree, like tastes piney or sprucey, like you taste like it was like if a vodka was made out of the sap of a pine tree is what it tastes like. But you keep it in the freezer, and then little tiny shot glasses, and then everyone says skål. And when you say skål, skol with two dots over the o, you're supposed to intensely look people in the eyes. Like you can't cheers and not look in the eye. So skål me here. Ready?
Okay.
We have no schnapps, but we'll pretend we're actors. Skål.
Skull.
And you throw it back. And then it tastes like cold fire goes down your esophagus, and it just like lights up your entire esophagus and your belly, and you feel like a dragon. But
Nice.
somehow it's like cold fire because it's been in the freezer. So you serve it like in little frosty shot glasses, and the bottle comes out all frosty. And so that was actually the first in European culture. Like people, when they're young, they get a little bit. So I remember like probably as young as like 10 or 12 getting like a little half shot and getting like Christmas Eve buzzed, New Year's
Mm.
Eve buzzed as like a little kid. Like, and you get a little older, 16, 17, 18, and then to the point where you're legally allowed to drink. It was just an extra treat. But yeah, you have one skull, everyone's skull, and then it just burns your esophagus. But in a
Is this something
soothing
you
way.
do as like a group like once, or is
Yeah,
it like
no,
throughout the night?
it's like throughout. It's throughout. Like I think in traditional Danish, there might be like even multiple bottles going, so people are doing it. We would normally do it where there'd be like a few rounds, and then some people would go the distance and do everyone. Some people like it doesn't taste that great, so some people would be like, "Yeah, I'll do one to say I did and be a part of it," and then people slowly but surely check out. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's tasty. It's just a little nip, but kind of warms you up. It's a good chaser. I mean, I think part of the reason that people are doing it is to wash the taste of pickled fish, pickled herring out of their mouth. It's like mouthwash, clear the palate. I think that is part of it, is clearing your palate so that then you go on to the next different type of bread or cheese, or lots of cheeses, meats. It's like a big open face sandwich buffet is kind of the way to think of a Danish luncheon. And it's meant to last long too. Like they're especially their like luncheons, it's like they're like 3-hour affairs, and then they bring out little snacks and little pastries at the end of it, and everyone's all pissed up on tiny little shots of cold schnapps. Yeah. And we would often, I don't know if I'm doing it this year, but if there's another tradition, it's been something called CEEE, which is Christmas Eve extravaganza. So on December 23rd, often, not every year, and it fell off a little bit, but there was a string of years where it happened every year. Sometimes it would be combined with a show or just a house party. But Christmas Eve extravaganza, CEEE. I think a couple years it was C-quadruple-E, because for whatever reason, it just made more sense to have it on the 22nd. What's today? Christmas Eve? It's today the 21st? Christmas
the 21st.
Eve. Yeah. So technically this is C-quintuple Eve. Christmas Eve extravaganza. I lost Brandon. Anytime, if I ever start talking acronyms, you just see Brandon's eyes gloss over. It's like in a video game when someone gets like put in a trance, and then they just kind of wobble there for a minute. Anytime I say an acronym, Brandon glazes over, and then you see a little smoke come out of his ear.
It's gotten to the point where like people have spelt stuff. Like people will be like, "Oh yeah, SMAR SM, I don't know, something."
Oh, and you're thinking that's an acronym.
And I'm thinking that's an acronym, and they're like, "No, it's this." And it's like,
smart.
Oh, well,
Smart.
well, there you go.
Smart.